Hey, hello everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, City of Las Vegas Communications Director David Riggleman. On today's show, there's a new captain leading the Bolden Area Command and the ever-evolving medical district. We have an update on what's happening in 2024 and beyond. Joining us with more on everything happening in Ward 1 is our Mayor Pro Tem, Brian Knudsen. Of course, he represents Ward 1. Welcome back to the program. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Is this your first show of 2024? I believe it is.
I believe it is,
Yeah,
yes.
well, welcome back.
I'm excited. This is a great year. I'm ready to go.
We have a lot to talk
I love all the
about.
rain outside. I have lots of energy. It's great.
Exactly. It's been a weird year, you know. It's
Yes.
like...
Last year was weird, too. Just getting used to it.
Something's going on out
Yeah.
there. But you represent Ward 1, as we mentioned. Of course, you know the area very well. For those of you out there not exactly sure where Ward 1 is located, well, don't worry. We're going to put it right on the map there for you. Right in the heart of everything. This is where Las Vegas started. The springs that bubbled up out of the ground are in Ward 1, hence why the Springs Preserve is in your ward. And of course, it ranges everything from the downtown, but you have a finger that goes clear out into the northwest there. So
It's the reindeer head, as I call it. It looks like a reindeer to me.
It kind of does. Coming out of Christmas, that makes sense. So. Well, Mayor Pro Tem, joining us today, we have a very special guest. She is the new captain of the Bolden Area Command. We welcome to the show Captain Esmeralda Boveda. Captain, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you. Thank you for giving me
Congratulations.
the opportunity to be here, and thank you for the congratulations. But yes, I took over Bolden Area Command end of October of last year and have been there since. It's been a couple busy months, but I'm very excited to be there and to work along with Councilman Knudsen and do everything we can within Ward 1.
Yeah, it's a big deal to become the captain of an area command. Captain, how many area commands are there? There's just a handful here across
We have a
the whole.
total of 10 area
across the
commands.
valley,
Yes.
so not very many. And so it's a big deal to rise up through the ranks and to end up as captain.
I will just jump in real quick because it's a big deal to go to Bolden, because if you look at the lineage of the uppity ups in Metro, almost all of them have come through Bolden at one point. And as you check in, because I have to check in on the new captains, because there's been 4 since I've started. So I check in on them saying, who are you sending me now?
I know.
And everybody across the board in the leadership at Metro has exceptional things to say about the captain here. And so we're very grateful to have her at Bolden. And I've talked to the officers. It's at the top and the bottom. Everybody has a great amount of respect for the captain.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. It's an honor for me being over Bolden Area Command, because that's where I started 21 years ago.
Let's start there. Talk about your career. How long have you been with Metro? What were your assignments over the years? You said you began at Bolden. How many years ago was that?
It was 21 years ago.
21 years back.
January was my 21st anniversary
Well,
being with
congrats.
the department. I started 21 years ago as a police cadet. I just graduated high school, and that was the first area command I was assigned to. So now going full circle, 21 years later, here I am having the honor to lead those men and women within that area command and serve the community now in the capacity of a captain. But I mean, a lot has happened over the 21 years. Like I said, I was a cadet there at Bolden, and then a couple years later got sent to the police academy and got reassigned to be a patrol officer within Bolden, and then went off, did a couple other assignments, was a detective for a couple of years, and then I promoted to sergeant a couple years later, and then made my way back to Bolden Area Command as a patrol sergeant. Served there for a little bit of time, and then went on to a couple other investigative units, and was supervised a couple detectives. I was part of the Office of Internal Oversight, overseeing a lot of the uses of force for the agency during that time, and then did some time in training, and then promoted to lieutenant, got reassigned at Bolden.
Keeps coming back. There's something.
I
in
know
this,
there's
yeah.
something there, and then so to make it, get promoted, I got promoted out of the Internal Affairs Bureau and got got sent to Bolden Area Command. So it's quite an honor, and personally, it has its own internal meaning, because like I said, that's where I started, and it's where I always keep making my way back, and then now being there, and then, but yeah.
I wanted to ask Captain, how many people are in your command? How many people work at Bolden?
I have a long 130, 140 people, personnel.
Big group, yeah.
Yes, very, very, very large group, so yes. Yes.
Well, I know Mayor Pro Tem, one of the things that we want to talk with the captain about is her goals, because a lot of those goals overlap with your goals for the ward.
I think that's what partnerships look like, and so that's why I like to develop a relationship with the captains in particular, is to say, what are you working towards? How can I help you? And here's some of the challenging areas that we have, and how can you help us? And it's just about communication. So I have my goals. I think they align very closely with what the captain here, but I'll let you talk about your goals.
Yeah, so like Brian mentioned, we recently met to discuss addressing traffic accidents, traffic fatals that
really spiking seems like.
Have really spiked. As we kicked off, we ended the year as an agency with like 156 for the year for LVMPD only. Now
that's not counting Henderson, North Las Vegas, etc. Yeah.
Correct. And then as of this morning, so far for the year, we've had a total of 19 traffic fatals, which that's 19 lives.
Terrible.
Yes, so
it's more than one a week at this point.
Agreed, and that affects all of us because we all drive to and from work to take our children to different activities, and a lot of these individuals and lives didn't make it to where it was that they were trying to make it. So that's one of the things that we recently met and discussed, how we would partner and how we would work together to try to combat that within Bolden Area Command. But another goal is to maintain the community partnerships that we have, such as working with Brian and other community members that we have. And one of the things that Bolden Area Command has been known for through the years, and maintaining that and continuing to cherish those and grow those and continue to combat crime together and any other issues that arise within Bolden. But I had mentioned earlier, stolen motor vehicle thefts. Also spiked up last year, and so continuing to focus on that this year and do whatever we can to try to reduce those numbers and try to identify those and apprehend those that are causing those issues for us, because everybody needs their transportation. And so robberies is one of the focus for my area command, also trying to stay on top of those and identifying anything that's going on within violent crime within the area command before it flares up and turns into anything, and now we're battling to decrease that. So, yeah.
Good. Mayor Pro Tem, I know one of the things Bolden is known for, and this is something you really appreciate, and Captain mentioned this, the partnerships with the community. Bolden Little League is known across the area, and that partnership between the police and the community. And I know that's something you really value and cherish.
It is built into the culture at Bolden. That's what's so unique about it, is there's the Bolden Area Command and the Bolden Little League and all the community partnerships that the captain just talked about. But she probably doesn't know that the individual officers reach out to me because they're doing their own individual partner organizations. They're forming their own 501c3s. They're raising money. They're giving out to the same constituents that they serve. And that is just built into the culture at Bolden. And so I look at Ward 1, we're about 90% covered by Bolden Area Command. And the officers there, because I know a lot of them, they know the community. They understand where the hot spots are. They understand where the low points in the ward are. They understand where the high points in the ward are, and they know it. And that's what makes me feel safe going home at night in my neighborhood. I feel very safe going home at night because I know that there's officers there that are aware of everything that's going on. They've been there, they've worked there, they've formed community partnerships. They care about it.
Yeah, they're paying attention.
And they also live in the area too.
Right. And you know what? I guess I'm remiss. Captain Brian, help everyone get oriented on where Bolden is, because it's part Ward 1, but part Ward 5 too. A little bit is in Ward 5 as well. So where generally are we talking about, Captain?
Well, our area command is located on the corner of Lake Mead and Martin Luther King. And we patrol the historic west side from the I-15 all the way down to Sahara, Charleston, all the way up to Jones, Rainbow. That's where some of our borders begin. So we cover Ward 5 and then Ward 1.
Yeah. So that's Councilman Creer, who represents Ward 5.
Little finger
Anyone
there.
who would know me knows I'm very competitive, and Councilman Creer knows that. So I'm always going to compete for the captain's attention.
And you know what?
To the best of my ability, I'll compete.
And Councilman Creer, Mayor Pro Tem's had Captain on first, so he beat you to the
always
punch.
winning.
I have a hunch you'll be back for that other show in the future, but that's okay. We'll looking forward to talking with you again. Captain, also to fill everyone in a little bit on those partnerships, the value in that. You had told me before we went on the air, you can't arrest your way out of problems. It's in valuing that partnership kind of policing, that community-oriented policing, I think is the term I hear sometimes. Talk a little bit about that and why that's so key.
Well, like we mentioned, right? Like any issue we have, like partnering with Brian regarding the traffic fatals, like enforcement is a huge component to that, but that's not going to be the end all and the solution to that. And so, like I said, arresting our way out of a problem, we have realized, and Bolden Area Command, including, like he mentioned, the officers have seen for themselves that that's not the end all and the solution to it all. And so that's why even the lowest from the first line of officers understand that themselves, that, hey, going out there, the community partnerships, all the programs is the way to try to prevent a lot of the issues. Instead of just going out there arresting
reacting to it, you're kind of working with the community in advance.
Agreed. And that's something that Bolden has historically been known for, is being able to rely on that and work very diligently in that area to have those community partnerships. And that is what I love for the Area Command, is that I know that if I need any help from within the community, that there is a huge support out there, ready to jump in and partner with us and help us to combat whatever it is that is facing the community that we police.
I'll give you an example, Dave, because I think, especially with traffic, I mean, I talk about it on every issue right now because it's probably one of my largest challenges that I have in the ward. We have a lot of construction going on. Construction will end at some point, but it is a thing, and it's creating some challenges for traffic.
And people are in such a hurry all of a sudden to get everywhere, and that creates a danger for all of us.
So I have a group of concerned citizens. I've had a number of groups that are coming out and saying, how can we make it better? And they're not yelling, they're not screaming, they're not mad. They're saying, we have something to contribute. That, to me, is the very best kind of partnership. Is we have citizens that are saying, we have ideas. I have representatives from Metro who are willing to sit down and say, okay, what are your ideas? We have traffic engineering saying, what are your ideas? You never know where the best idea is going to come from, and let's just keep working towards a better solution.
That's good. Well, speaking of partnerships, you did a ride-along with one of the officers from Bolden. Tell us about that. And it was kind of a special ride for that officer, wasn't it?
It was Officer Covine, and he retired, I think, 5 days later.
You drove him clear out of the job.
I can do that.
I'm kidding.
No, he was great. We issued a proclamation for making it his special day. And I can tell he did not want any attention. He didn't want any limelight. He reminded me of my father. My dad was a police officer. He retired after 25 years with the county of Salt Lake, and then went back to work as a civilian for another 10 years. It's the culture within law enforcement, I think, is to always be a public servant, and that's what I saw in Officer Covine. And I've done a number of ride-alongs with Metro, with Bolden Area Command in particular, with our own DPS, Department of Public Safety. And that's what I love being with police officers, is because you can see their commitment to making the world a better place. You can feel it when you're in the car with them.
And Captain Officer Covine, he was there when you started at Bolden back in the day, wasn't he?
He was. He was sitting in that same briefing room that I walked in and introduced myself on my first day. And now every time I came back around, he was sitting in the same briefing room and walked in as a captain, and there he was, and now getting the chance to say goodbye to him. But
so somebody who knew that area command.
Knew that area, served that area, and he's the prime example of that officer that, yes, he policed that area, but he also participated as one of the coaches in Bolden Little League, and it contributed to that area command and the community on his own time. So he was that prime example, that role model of a Bolden cop who not only went out there and policed the area, but also took his own ownership and pride in giving back to that community that he served.
Invested in that community, that's for sure. That's really great. Captain, we're about out of time. It's been a great opportunity to talk with you here. I want to wish you the very best of luck. Is there anything else you'd like to add before Brian and I have to say goodbye to you?
No, I just want to say thank you, and I just want to remind everybody, it's drive safe.
Yeah, please, everybody.
Please drive safe. You'll probably, we'll talk about it all year and campaign it as much as we can to remind everybody, slow down. Let's make these roads a lot safer so that we could all make it home to our loved ones.
Absolutely.
anything that we want to intend to get to. So yes, but I look forward to continuing to work with you all and making Bolden and Ward 1, Ward 5 a better place to live in.
Yeah, well, the vice
Ward
versa.
1 first.
Where did you hear that? There.
Hear that,
Okay,
Ward 1
all right,
residents?
there
I'm
you
fighting
go.
for you.
All right.
But yes, thank you.
Well, Captain Esmeralda Boveda, thank you so much. Best of luck to you. It's a pleasure having you on the program. Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem, we need to take a short break, but when we come back, we have an update on the medical district, so please stay with us.
You think you've had a bad ride-share experience? Even the worst ride-share would be better than one of ours. But if you drive after drinking or consuming cannabis, this is the ride you're gonna get. Plan a ride, or law enforcement will pick you up. But at least you won't need to tip your driver. 0 fatalities. Lives are on the line. Paid for by the Nevada Departments of Public Safety and Transportation.
Welcome back, everyone. We are talking all things Ward 1 with Mayor Pro Tem Brian Knudsen. Of course, he represents Ward 1. And really, Brian, the focus right in the middle of your ward is the medical district. That's our burgeoning, we've got the medical school there. It's just, it's an amazing place. It's changed a lot. The time when Councilwoman Lois Tarkanian was in office, and you have continued that path and taken it even to new heights. You recently did a tour of the medical district. You took some VIPs through. Tell us about that.
I did. This is the Vegas Chamber's Leadership Las Vegas program, and we did a couple of tours. I was on one of them. And we just talked about the growth and opportunity within the Las Vegas Medical District. In that space that's showing on the screen right now, we're in the Kirk Kerkorian School of Medicine at UNLV. And then we later facilitated a panel around the future and opportunities of healthcare in Nevada with about 60 new leaders in our community. So much opportunity, and even over the next couple of weeks in Las Vegas with the Super Bowl, the healthcare communities around the world are looking at Las Vegas at how they're going to grow their business here. So I see that as a prime way to diversify our economy as well as to invest and grow in Ward 1.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about that. The medical district, your focus there is to make us a world-class location for healthcare, right? You know,
I approach it from a parent perspective first. I want to make sure that my kids, as well as everybody else's children, have access to healthcare, have good quality healthcare. The second point of that is it's a great way to diversify our economy. Everybody is always going to need healthcare, and people in healthcare make good living wages. Whether you're a healthcare worker, or a nurse, or a physician, you're going to make a decent wage. And so this is a great way to think about our economy and the economic benefits of the Las Vegas Medical District. And there's been plenty of studies right now that show that investment in the medical district is going to expand our opportunities within Las Vegas exponentially.
Yeah. Medical district, for those trying to get oriented geographically, it's kind of the area around where University Medical Center, Valley Hospital is located, but it's kind of a wider area that, because you got the medical school there, the UNLV's medical school, you've got the dental school there, of course the Ruvo Center,
UMC, Valley Hospital,
all of
and
those.
then because of investments from the state and the city, there'll be a public health lab, there'll be mental health space. I'm entertaining conversations by the week right now around other investments in that medical district. I anticipate the entire area will be developed with newer construction in the next 5 years.
It's really exciting because we've gone from kind of being known as not having great health care here to now taking the lead like we've done in so many things in Las Vegas. It's been exciting to see. Congratulations to you on that. And then Mayor Pro Tem, you took part in an organization called the Denver, the TBRI Summit, Trust-Based Relationship Intervention. Talk about that. We help fund some of this through our ARPA funds. Talk about this program. It's really a great program.
Yeah, I think this is important, and I'll just give some background. So I've done a number of principal roundtables. I have a good relationship with a lot of teachers in the community. And in general, teachers are struggling, educators are struggling with children who are demonstrating challenging behaviors. A lot of those challenging behaviors are coming forth because of some form of trauma within their background. And so the TBRI training was just chatting with us about the future of how we're going to work with children. COVID was a big deal. It took a toll on children, and they're struggling to figure out how to come back into school. Their parents are struggling to figure out, and that kind of trauma, it results in challenging behaviors in the classroom. And so TBRI is about making sure educators, parents, healthcare workers, the justice system, anybody involved with children and their families understand how to recognize a challenging behavior and not discipline it, but understand where it comes from and try to help that child get over it, understand what the trauma is, and live with it,
and get through it,
manage through it in a respectful way.
Yeah. That's great. What a great program, and boy, the timing of that couldn't be better with everything going on in the world and our country right now. That's
I learned a lot. It doesn't just work on children; it works on adults too.
Absolutely.
And the basic tenet, and I used it with my own children, is you have to meet them where they are, no matter where a person is, a child or an adult. You have to meet them there, and then you both grow together.
Right.
You can't expect someone to be more or know more or do more than where they're currently mentally at.
Right. Yeah. A great point, and a wonderful program. And Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem, we love talking about the Jameson Fellowship. This is an integral part of our community. Guard Jameson, of course, a huge philanthropist here in Las Vegas. The whole process is to help grow leaders in the community, right?
Yeah, and my specific, I had an hour, which is a long time for me to talk, as we talked about earlier.
Yeah, that's one of your favorite things.
So we talked about, my point in that hour long was to help others understand how to build consensus. I'm generally, not always, but generally known in the community for building consensus.
You are good at that, yeah.
And so we're talking about some of the basic tenets, and I'll just generally, and I think this is my primary job as an elected official, is to build consensus, you have to build compromise, and the only way to do that is to build trust and relationships, identify common values and work towards those.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, at the very least of my jobs, the very most of my jobs at the same time, is making sure that we can find compromise and consensus wherever we possibly can. And division within elected officials, division within jurisdictions doesn't help anybody.
No, it creates impasse. No one gets anywhere then.
So same thing with TBR. It's find them where they are, and we have to grow together.
Yep.
And that's generally what I think my job is. And so that was my role with the Jameson Fellowships, is to talk about building consensus.
Well, Guard has had that organization for a number of years. There's a new cohort of future leaders that comes through each year.
I was in the first cohort.
Yeah, exactly. How many years ago was there's Guard right there with you?
They quizzed me on that, and I got it wrong. I'm too old to remember now, but it's like 12 years maybe.
Okay, so only 12-ish. That's young in my eyes. So. Well, good. I'm glad that the tradition continues and that you've been a part of it at the beginning and now keeping it going too with some very good advice. Our DPS group, always out there, just like the Metro people, engaging with the community. You had a number of folks from our Department of Public Safety go out to Vegas Verdes Elementary School. That's what's happening here. Mm-hmm. They handed out some books, 130 books to the students, and I assume read to them as well. It's
super cute. This was Chief Pott's idea. He implemented it with the team approach at DPS, and we all took turns reading to third graders. At the end, we had an election of who was the best reader, because that was one of the questions. What does it mean? I did not win.
Whoa.
So we were talking about how does somebody get to be the mayor, they were asking me, and I was like, well, you have to vote. And so we voted on the best readers. We had a runoff election between Officer Lopez, Lieutenant Lopez, and
Cindy, she's great.
Officer Ron Barrera. And the winner, the mayor of reading, was Officer Ron Barrera.
Wow, yes. Good for him. Ron Barrera, I've known him for many years. His spouse also works for the city.
Yeah.
And so
it wasn't much of a competition, I'll tell you that. Officer Ron Barrera brought it. He really took all the necessary actions to win that race.
I bet he did. I bet he did. I'm sure. I'm sure the kids loved all of it.
They did.
So that's very cool. I should mention, too, that our Department of Youth Development Social Initiatives also participated in that as well. And then, Councilman, we love when people get out there and help the community in some way. You had a great partnership. You always do with Get Outdoors Nevada. It's an organization that's committed to making sure that we have great outdoor spaces in Nevada. And you had a big cleanup at
Rotary Park.
Rotary Park, yeah, and the Rotary Club helped too, fittingly enough.
Do you know why Rotary Park is named Rotary Park?
I don't know that.
I didn't either. They invited me to come and speak about the importance of Rotary Park and helped me to understand that it was Rotarians who actually helped to develop that park. They provided the funding with the cities in partnership, and they developed that park. And this is the oldest serving Rotarian club in Las Vegas.
Wow.
The Rotary Club was back in the I'm going to say late 1800s, were there to establish a routine for providing polio vaccines.
Right.
And they've since evolved in a number of ways. There's Rotarian clubs everywhere across the country. This particular Rotarian club helped to develop Rotary Park, which is, I did not know that. That was
Well, there you go.
So
You helped
it was
develop
fun.
it. We're going to name it after.
Yeah, and so they helped clean it up, and we just recently turned that into a children's only park. And
Nice.
We recently unveiled some murals, and in partnership with Life is Beautiful and Paints with Care, we painted the park benches. And so the Rotary Club came out to imagine and see how great the Rotary Park is.
Still going.
It's
and
still
it's looking
going.
better than ever now. So love it. And MPT, we're running out of time here, but I want to mention too that you have a couple of events coming up that we want to make sure people are aware of. You have your Brews with Brian on Thursday, February 15th. That's from 5:30 to 6:30 at Slater's 50/50. Great place on Westlake Mead, 7511 Westlake Mead. And this is a very informal way to get to meet you, talk issues, over some food, maybe a brew, and not...
And support a local business. And Andy Coe is the owner. He has 2 young children. He has 2 restaurants, and he's super nice. And everything in there has bacon in it.
Yeah, and he is a local guy from the beginning. It's called Slater's 50/50 because the burgers are 50% beef, 50% bacon. Very, very tasty. And they also have 50 beers on tap.
Yes.
And it's close to my house, and so I've been there.
Come on out.
Been there a few times. So that's a good spot. And then also, Councilman, want to mention too, a document shredding event. This is going to take place on Saturday, February 24th from 10 to noon at Wasden Elementary School. That's over on Palomino Lane there, 2831 Palomino. Great time to get rid of all your old documents that could end up in the hands of someone bad. Identity theft is a huge thing. So if you got those old tax documents, when you're going to do the new tax forms, get rid of the old, shred them, and our events just turns it all into confetti. So it's good stuff.
And that was a request from a resident in McNeil, Lisa, who asked if we could do that. So happy to do that and keep ideas coming.
Yeah, we asked too, when you bring your documents, just bring the paper. Sometimes we get binders, we get big clips, we get staplers are in there. Sometimes, one time, a cell phone.
And no batteries.
No batteries, just the paper. Staples are okay, but everything else, paper clips and everything else, please pull those out. And then, and medication too.
And medications,
right? Yep. Don't throw those down the sink or down the toilet. Bring them, and our folks will dispose of it properly. So. Well, Mayor Pro Tem, we're just about out of time here. We want to tell everybody out there, hey, we always want to hear from you. So if there's something you'd like to share with our Mayor Pro Tem Knudsen, you can find him on Facebook, Instagram, and X. You can also contact him by picking up the phone, 702-229-6405, or send him an email. His address is bknudsen@lasvegasnevada.gov, and here one of his great staff will get right back to you. You're always very responsible, you and all your people. So making sure that everybody, if they have a need, whether it's city related or not, you get them headed in the right direction.
We try.
You do. Well, it's been great having you on the program. We'll see you next time around. And everyone out there, please don't miss our next show beginning on February 22nd with Councilwoman Olivia Diaz. You can catch all of our KCLV shows now on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. And watch for our QR code during the closing credits of this show to subscribe to our newsletter. And also, don't forget, you can watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time around.